Hi guys, it's CryptoBurb, Adrian speaking. Welcome to today's exclusive video report. And today I'm going to briefly, introduce a couple of different timeframes on Bitcoin USD spot price, Bitstamp exchange, data vendor. One and the same remains, mainly because it's important to keep and stick to one and the same data set, right? Here kicking it off with a weekly chart. So here we go. We're looking truly at this subsequent movement to the downside after Bitcoin, rejected local resistance at around $25,000, which came a bit as a surprise. In all honesty, mainly because having 200 day average here on the top at the smooth curve, many stocks, and Bitcoin is strongly attached to stocks, did manage to climb higher and retest their due respected 200 day averages. 200 day average is mainly often looked at because it stands for a long-term trend, and this long-term trend here, of course, defines the bear market, right? The 200 day average climbing down refers to the bear market. Flat refers to some sideways continuation period, consolidation period, while ascending, growing, rising 200-day average basically tells you about the bull market it is, right? So here I would argue that like failing to break above $25,000 to push higher to catch up with the stocks, just to catch up, not really outcome like outbeat them, right? Or outperform, just to catch up. Bitcoin did fail, and as a result, it actually broke downwards out of this bearish pennant. And bearish pennants technically again have this kind of like a pole attached to it, which could be used for measure rule movement to the downside, which would be kind of like taking us somewhere into the $19,000 area support. So that is the technical price objective for the pattern brush breakout pennant uh, head. And while looking at 200-week average, this longer term average, which basically corresponds with 200 weeks, right? So roughly 4 years, over 4 years of data. It tells you that a 4 year average of price Bitcoin is about $23,000. It is very high. However, Bitcoin, keeps struggling to maintain the trading above this level, right? We had the subsequent failures on top to kind of like climb higher and reclaim those levels to climb through to $25,000 higher. And as a result, the selling pressure contributed and added to the overall breakout, which got validated and confirmed. And as a result, we got two subsequent closes below the 200-week average, which I would argue that again, the lower down the average it goes, the more it deviates, the more or the better mean reversion or mean reverting opportunity it generates, right? Bitcoin typically takes the drawdowns of about 80 to 90% of the peak, having the peak at around $69,000. So far, we'd had 69 to 70.5 K, slide, which stood for about 75% of a drawdown in total measure of the peak. While the historical records more often than not give the cycle bottoms and lows somewhere in the territory of 80 to 90% retracement. So, which would classify that somewhere in the region of 10 to $14,000, if you will, right? Of course, I have no idea if it's going to happen there, if it's going to go there, uh, but it's still maybe used as a important reference point. Here, just giving it a little bit of a deeper look and closer look into the daily chart. Like here is the clearer instance of how this local rejection came in. Of course, we had some periods of failures, right? That were coming up. Of course, highs established, and they did not follow through. New highs established, again rejection, not follow through. New highs broken, again lack of follow through. New highs, lack of follow through, right? So you got this climb stair kind of like a way situation where each and every single new high would be soon invalidated, right? Eventually, after it reached its inflection point here at the very apex of the rising wedge locally here on the daily chart, right? Then you were looking at a subsequent breakdown, which was validated by a normal volatility spike. So here, I would argue that having already reached the targets of this local rising wedge, right? Kind of like a breakdown towards $20,000, and even slipping below that, I would argue that the next stop potentially maybe in the $19,000 support area, which actually, of course, matches the historical lows of June to July. So I wouldn't be really surprised. I would definitely be voting to get ready for it, right? Just in case it comes. Nobody knows what tomorrow's holding, but there are the chances and odds, in my opinion, that Bitcoin sinks lower.